glass and fenestration plays such a key component to the architectural design of a commercial building, well as its function of a commercial building, as well as its weatherproofing of the commercial building. When I think about glass, we think about the two different types of glass we're going to have, or fenestration on the outside of the building. We have window walls and we have curtain walls. And there's a big difference between the two, and especially a big difference on where they're at. A window wall is a wall of glass placed between structure. So I have a structure below and I have a structure above, and I'm just inserting that glass, that wall of window right in between the two. Doesn't have any structural bearing, but yet the structure of the building is supporting the upper and lower portions of that window. Some people might even call those a storefront glass. Then we have a curtain wall, where a curtain wall is hung on the face of a building, over the structure, like you'd hang a curtain on a rod on a wall. So in our particular case, I've got curtain walls on this building, and I see that based on the type of fastening it is in front of the structure. So let's take a look at that a little closer. So as I look at this curtain wall, I always start at the base and I'll just follow it upward. So as you see, this glass wall certainly is not holding up the building. It follows the entire exoskeleton of the building all the way up, and it's attached to the structural elements in some interval, which probably never going to be determined by us. So taking all those same principles of plumb, level, square, and straight are going to be your key metrics to looking at this. But lastly, the other key element is let's look at the sealant and the glazing on these windows a little closer. As we look at this glazing a little tighter, we have to go back to what we already know. What we already know is this glass isn't structure, that this framing is probably aluminum because it's much lighter. And if we're supporting this or hanging this on the building, we don't want a tremendous amount of weight. But how does that glass sit in the frame? Well, it sits in the frame through a glazing strip, and that's a rubber gasket that's placed in here, and that holds this window into the frame. Well, our challenge is that piece of rubber shrinks, becomes dislodged, can fall out. And if that does, and water comes down this glass, it wants to get into that opening and will cause damage. And if it's way at the top, it's going to cause damage all the way down. As a rule of thumb, you can walk around and see what you can see on the lower levels of this very tall building and take the extrapolation that if I have issues low, I'm going to have the similar issues, if not worse, much higher. So when I look at this building and I see the amount of external topical sealant that they've added recently or as a repair, then I'm going to look at that and continue that all the way around the building. So once again, understanding we could have window walls or curtain walls, knowing that a window wall is between structure and a curtain wall is in front of structure is a first key metric to knowing what windows you have. Look at the glazing, look at the glazing strips, and being able to wrap your arms around making sure that this skeletal feature of this building is not going to bring in moisture into the building.